Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe. Guys, good morning.
Good morning, Jenny. How are you?
Jenny, how are you?
Dame Dollar.
Dame Dollar?
Yeah, you know that what? Hey, that's my new. When I come out here at 6:31.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, you know what time it is.
Jenny, you know what I decided I was going to do today?
What?
I'm just going to let him build up a 15-point lead, and then I'm going to hit a walk-off. That's
is
what
that
I
what you're
decided.
gonna
Just
do?
for fun, I'm going to have a microcosm of the game.
No, you let me build a 30-point lead last night in Denver.
Really?
In the Mile High City, you let me build a 30-point lead. Come back from that.
Wait, is that one over?
It's over.
Did it end?
It's
Not
over.
yet.
Really?
Not yet.
Spurs in 7 is over?
Not yet.
Thank you.
Can we get some dew?
I think we already got 2.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, you heard, Jenny, you heard that right. We got dew on the game.
I'm well aware. I got to start tracking you guys. We have a lot to get to on today's show. Our NFL team's getting cold feet about drafting Kyler Murray. And then why is Odell a no-show in Cleveland? We're going to talk about it. We are going to start, though, with a thriller in Portland. The Blazers were down by 15 in the fourth quarter, but they made a dramatic comeback. Damian Lillard made a layup to tie the game with about 30 seconds left, and Russell Westbrook missed a layup to give OKC the lead. Russ had a triple-double, but he also missed 20 shots. Then Lillard nailed the game-winning three from 37 feet away to close the series. He finished with a career playoff high 50 points and even waved goodbye to the Thunder. Take a listen to Dame explain that move after the game.
The series was over. That was it. And I was just waving goodbye to him. And I think after game 3, Dennis Schroeder was out there pointing to his wrist. They was out there doing all these celebrations and doing all this stuff, and we kept our composure. And after one win, that was what they decided to do. And we was just like, okay, what we want to do is win 4 games. And then when we win those 4 games, it's not going to be nothing to talk about. So that's what that was.
Barry Trammell with the Oklahoma. Russell, you guys played so well in the fourth quarter to take back control of the game. What do you think went wrong there in the last 3 or 4 minutes?
Not really sure.
Okay,
I
lots
think he's
to
really
say.
sure.
Yeah.
Shannon, was last night more about Lillard or Westbrook?
Dame Dollar. Skip, this game, you look at the way Paul George shot the ball in the first half, Skip. They shot 55%, OKC Thunder shot 55% in the first half. They really should have been up probably 10 to 12 points. Dame had 34 first half points. None of his other teammates had more than 6. If he does not have this virtuoso, they're not winning this game. Not only does it keep them in the game, they have a 1-point lead because Paul George was in foul trouble. He comes off the bench, hits a 3, now it's a 61-60 game at the half. They're down 15. And although he only scored 8, and I said only 8, he had 4 assists. So now, not only is he scoring in the fourth, he's assisting the basketball. So he keeps them in the game in the first half. He helps lead them back from a 15-point lead. Skip, you get a 15. I've never seen anything like a swing like this. When Dame hit that 3 late in the third quarter, Skip, I thought the game was over. They're up 9. And then the next thing you know, to end the third and the start of the fourth, OKC go on a 30-6 run. So they go down they're down 9 to up 15.
Yep.
With 2 All-NBA, 2 All-Star players on your team. Dame said, nah, not tonight. Not tonight. You're going home, and that's going to be final. Skip, he started to get tired because he played all the first 3 quarters. And you could see him his energy start to dissipate a little bit. But that's what you have teammates for. That's why I love I love individual sports. Skip, I love golf. I love tennis because you have to dig deep into your own reserve that you're able to do this.
True.
But when you play a team sport, you need your teammates to come through. Now, it took CJ a while to get going, but he got going in the fourth quarter. And Mo Harkless, Skip, going into the fourth quarter, Skip, he was 1 for 6 from the free throw line. But when the rubber needed to meet the road, he goes 4 for 4 from the free throw line. He goes
10 points.
Goes 3 for 3 from the field.
Yeah.
That was the difference in the ball game. But it was all about Dame Dollar, Skip. He was and I've seen every one of Jordan's playoff performance. I've seen a lot of great performances. This ranks favorable I've seen all of LeBron.
Don't put it above a Jordan.
No. But I'm saying.
Like it's in the conversation.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying this. I mean, this performance is better than some of Jordan's playoff performances. It's hard for me to believe that
Maybe some of his worst ones, but go ahead.
Skip, don't do that.
Well, come
Skip,
on.
Skip, that's
You're doing so well, and then all of a sudden you bring up Jordan.
There have been 6 times a guy has hit a game-winning shot to win a series. Dame Lillard has 2. Michael Jordan has 2. Now, you love numbers.
Wait a second. Damian Lillard came into this playoff run having lost his last 10 playoff games. Go ahead.
That's
okay, and I got it. You're right about what you're saying until you went to Michael
Jeffrey Jordan first playoffs, he got swept. Oh, you were doing so good, Skip, before you interrupted me.
Go look at the numbers he put up.
We don't do numbers. Yeah. We care about dubs. That's what you tell me, Skip. But anyway, can you please stop interrupting me? This is my time to talk about Dame Dollar.
How many finals has he played?
Skip!
I don't know.
This is not about Jordan. This is about Dame Dollar doing what was necessary. This is all about him. There'll be a time, later I'm going to hear your side of it. We can get to Russ and whomever else you want to discuss. But what he did last night and that pull-up, Skip, I'm like, Dame, are you going to get closer?
I know.
I'm like, what are you? I knew he's smart enough to know either we going home as victors or we go into overtime.
Yeah.
Ain't going to be any time. You're not getting this ball and there's going to be 1 second or 2 seconds on the clock. Dude. But if you look at his numbers, Skip, he's like 6 of 8 from 30 feet or beyond in the playoffs. Everybody else is like 438. So it lets me know he got the shot that he wanted. But this was all about him. He was spectacular. Spectacular last night.
By the way, did you see what he said about that last shot? Reminded me of somebody who's not in the playoffs right now, because he said, I knew if I missed it, we had overtime. Well, that other guy who's not in the playoffs has had a lot of shots where he's okay because he knows if he misses that you still have overtime to fall back on. But when it's do or die, you can't trust him.
Oh, kind of like Chicago? Yeah. The one he hit on Jimmy Butler. If they'd missed that shot, would he have been overtime?
I don't remember that one.
You do remember, Skip. I can't believe you.
So, to your point, if we go to the last shot, it was actually a step back or step sideways shot.
Yes.
And I got to give Paul George this. He was all over it, and he is 6'8" to Dame's 6'3". It's a 6'8" man diving with hand up, playing it perfectly, and getting that shot off. It was special, spectacular, all-time. He hit one against the Rockets, obviously, so he is highly capable of doing that.
Yes.
But everything that he did, in my humble estimation, or not so humble estimation, was a result of what Russell Westbrook allowed him to do. And I take nothing away from Damian. All he did last night was prove once again, maybe once and for all, he's just a better basketball player than Russell Westbrook. He's a better leader. He's a better closer. He's a better shooter. I think he's a more creative, clever passer than Russell is. And in the end, he's just a better all-around point guard who can also play some two guard than Russell is. So here's what last night was for me. In the end, it was about the quote-unquote point guard of the Oklahoma City Thunder named Russell Westbrook, who has pulled off over the last 3 years the single greatest feat, individual feat in NBA history. This is impossible what he's done. He's averaged a triple-double for 3 straight years, and it had been 55 years since that feat had been accomplished before by Oscar Robertson, and he did it only one time in 1 year.
Correct.
1962.
Yes.
Okay, so think about that. He's done it 3 straight times, so I'm going to give him that. But that's the same guy who doesn't know how to win a basketball game that's on a silver platter. You have a 15-point lead with 7:12 left. You have an 8-point lead with 3:55 left. If you're that guy, if you're a superstar, if you're an all-time great,
he's a superstar.
If you've got some Jordan and some Magic in you and some Bird in you, if you've got some of those guys running through your bloodlines, if that's who you are, if you are the man, you just figure out a way to get that game home, because You're just that good. If you can pull off that individual feat for 3 straight years, you've got to be able to close this deal in Portland to get the game back to Oklahoma City.
Correct.
And it takes savvy, it takes know-how, it takes some poise, it takes some perspective on what little plays or big plays need to be made when they need to be made to get the game literally home back to Oklahoma City.
So in other words, you're trying to say he shouldn't play the same way up 15 as down 15. Is that what you're
just
saying?
ways, it's learning how to win
Thank
a
you.
basketball game
Yes.
that he still hasn't learned how to
No.
do. We know what he's done. We know that nobody in the history of basketball has ever played harder from dribble to dribble than Russell Westbrook. We know that no 6'3" guard has ever been able to rebound the way Russell Westbrook has, as relentlessly, as all out. Nobody has given up their body for rebounds the way Russell Westbrook has during the regular season. And we know that no 2 guard masquerading as a point guard has ever taught himself to lead the league in assists the way Russell Westbrook has, because he's not a passer by nature. The last 2 years, Russell Westbrook led this league in assists. Okay, so he figured out, how do I do that? It all contributes to individual glory because it's going to be a triple-double. But he did teach himself, let's see, if I attack the basket and leave the ball in the lane for Steven to dunk it, that'll work. I get an assist, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he figured all that out. But in the end, he didn't figure out yet, as advanced age as he is in this league, as many years as he played, he still doesn't know how to win that game last night. So he's now in real jeopardy. Big picture, I know we argued with Chris Broussard the other day. He said nobody cares about whether they win or lose in this series, that everybody's just going to remember the triple-doubles. I don't know about that, because I know I can only speak for me. I'm not. It's now discounted. It's now diluted. It's cheapened. It is. Because in the end, I'm thinking, wait a second, are you more of a stat padding loser? And I hate to use that word, but it feels like you're more of a loser to me today. And in your legacy, big picture, is this all you got? That once KD left you, you're just going to be a first-round exit? That's 3 straight years. That's how many? He's 4-12 without Kevin Durant now in the postseason. He's lost all 9 road games.
Right.
He's 0 for 9 on the road, okay? Right. Well, are you that guy? Are you all-time great? I don't know. Yeah. So can we look at the last 7 minutes and 12 seconds? What happened? The sort of diary of disaster here. So let's look. He had a partner in crime, but his partner helped him more than he hurt him. So with 7:12 left, the next shot they took, Paul George had a wide open 3. Nobody guarded him. He just looked up and he kind of froze and kind of sort of double clutched it a little bit, but he missed a wide open 3, okay? Then Russell drives, as I said yesterday, he attacked the basket and he went so hard he lost the handle and went out of bounds. Okay, these are crucial now because you're up 15 and it's starting to dwindle. Paul George goes to the free throw line and makes only 1 or 2 free throws. That's going to count later. Then Russell Westbrook, another pull-up from 19 feet. Westbrook. Nope, that won't work. Then Schroeder missed a 3. Then Russell Westbrook, pull-up 21 feet, missed. So he went 0 for 3 in the last 7 minutes of the game.
Right.
Then Paul George, with 2:15 left, goes to the free throw line, and he turned into George Paul. He missed both free throws.
Hold on, what happened to playoff P?
Well, I don't know.
You told me he didn't playoff P, Skip.
I didn't say that.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, he did make a run at MVP there for a while, and
what about the Gatorade commercial?
March, maybe?
What about the Gatorade commercial?
What's he say in that one? Like, what is it? Like,
never
never in doubt? I don't know. Something like that. Okay. So then I'm going to give Russell 1 break today. 1:55 left. He attacks as only Russell can attack. And Damian got in his way, and the foul call went against Russ. He got called for a charge here, and I don't think this is a charge. I don't think Damian got set. I thought he was moving sideways into Russ. And by the way, Russell made a circus shot off the glass.
It did. It went in.
It went in. This is unbelievable. The ball goes in. So remember, you have a chance to have an and 1. And if you made the and 1, that would have put you up 9 with 1:55 left. Could you have got that home?
Yep.
Maybe?
Maybe.
I don't know. Instead, you canceled out those 3 points, and now it's still a 6-point game, and you know the rest of the story. So then Russell goes to the other end, frustrated. Just a reach-in, unnecessary, crucially bad foul that he gets. It's just frustrating. You know how he gets.
Yeah.
And the
So
referee,
now you stop the clock.
Hey, you stop the clock, and you give whoever, I think it was Harkless.
Harkless.
Harkless got to go to the free throw line and make 2 more free throws. Yep. Well, it's crucial because it cut the lead to 2 at that point. And
then what happened? Playoff P.
Okay. Then he tries to dribble through a double team and just gets stripped. And that won't
Steph
work.
Curry.
Okay. And then I got to give Paul George just one break here because now with, I think it's 39 seconds left, Paul George made one big shot in this game. Mm-hmm. He made a pull-up free throw line jump shot, and that gave them a 2-point lead. And then what happened at the other end? I don't know what happened because Damian just takes the ball to the other end. There's the Paul George shot. That was big. That looked like, I don't know, maybe that's going to stand up. Right. Then look at this. They go to the other end. Damian gets a layup.
A circus.
A layup?
Look,
okay.
That could have been an and one.
Okay, it could have been. But how do you let him get that wide open to the basket? You can't do that. You just went up 2.
But you know what, Skip? That goes to show you that's why Paul George slacked off on that last shot. Because on the shot before, what did he do? He just blew by it.
All right, okay. I got you. But that's 32 seconds left.
Yes.
Now the game is tied. And then Russell Westbrook drives it again, as he's wont to do, and he just couldn't get the handle, and he missed the shot. Mm-hmm. And that was the end of this year's Oklahoma City Thunder as we knew, and at least I loved them. And I want to credit Russell and Paul George for staying in my hometown of Oklahoma City because it's really neat, if I can use that word. Right. It's a feel-good story that they stayed in a small market and said, you know what, we're going to do it here.
Yeah, good. I mean, the criticism doesn't come in a small market like it would in a big market. Imagine one of those guys playing in New York, they're playing in New York, or they're playing in Boston, they're playing in L.A., and this epic collapse happens, Skip Bayless. That's why Paul George wouldn't come to L.A., because he's going under the fence again unscathed. He missed 2 free throws. He turned the ball over. That's fact.
Well, you remember what happened in Game 6, the closeout game at Utah last year.
Yes.
George Paul, as I call him, made 1 field goal in the middle of the first quarter and then didn't make another one the rest of the way. Russell was special in the third quarter as he do it with Donovan Mitchell, but they lost another closeout.
You mentioned about being a point guard. A lot about being a point guard, Skip, is understanding where you are time of the game.
That is correct.
Russ plays the exact same way the entire time. Skip, they can be up 15 or they can be down 15. He's still going to come down and jack up ill-advised shots. Mm-hmm. You said something very interesting. You said Russell plays harder than anybody that you've seen from the tip of the ball to the end of the ball game.
Never seen anything like it before.
What about playing smart? When you play point guard, that's what you need to play because you need to understand situation. You have a 15-point lead. A quick shot with 15 seconds on the shot clock does you no good.
Yep, I agree.
He got lulled into that. He hit a few threes. They talk about, Russ has really gotten it going. Portland said, don't worry about it. Just let him, because now he thinks he really has it going. And he'll continue to jack those shots up, Skip. But this is what we know about Russ. In 4 elimination games since KD left, he's averaging 37 shots a game, shooting 41%. Skip, you're not winning like that.
You're just not.
Paul George again, Skip, missed 2 free throws. That's playoff Paul.
And he missed 3 out of 4 in the last.
3 out of 4 in the 7 minutes, 5 minutes? And then the big turnover late.
Yep. Won't work.
The difference, I thought, if OKC had won this game, it wasn't going to be because of Paul George. It wasn't going to be because of Russ. It was going to be the auxiliary guys.
Yep.
Steven Adams, Jeremy Grant, and Dennis Schroeder. Skip, they went 19 to 26. One guy missed 1 shot, the other 2 missed 3 apiece.
Yep.
That was the difference in the ball game, because I was like, dude, can somebody guard? It's like, somebody?
Yep. That's how they got up 15.
Yes. And I was like, but Russ needs to understand he can't help himself, Skip, because at the end of the day, you'll always revert back to what you know. It's called muscle memory. Russ has played this way so long. Now, in the middle of the season, what did he do, Skip? He turned a lot of this over to Paul George, and they had success. But when the rubber needed to meet the road, what does he know, Skip? I got to go down swinging.
Yep.
I got to go down swinging.
Yep.
This is what I know.
This is who I am. This is all I know.
But Skip, I'm tired of this. Russ made me out to be a liar. I said he's going to take 25 shots, Skip. He took 31. But he got a triple-double. But he got a triple-double when he took more shots than points that he scored. Yeah. Is that good? But he got a triple-double. See, Skip, you mentioned that.
Empty numbers.
3 straight years of triple-double.
Yep.
3 straight years of first-round exit.
It's feel for the game. I'm sure you had a coach somewhere along the line who said, Shannon, this route, You can't run at 100 miles an hour.
Right.
You have to set them up.
Yes.
Just run at 70 miles an hour and save a gear to blow by him.
Right.
And in the fourth quarter, you're going to get him if you'll just stay right with this route, but you can't run like you're running through a brick wall.
Correct.
On every route. He tries to run every play like he's going to run hell-bent through the brick wall.
Yeah.
He plays hell-bent, and it won't always work because you're not going to get the game home because there are 4 other guys and 5 other guys on the other team.
But see, again, Skip, here we go. And Russ did some good things. That's not to try to minimize.
He did.
But he played bad. But the thing that's going unnoticed and unscathed again is Paul George. You see how he gets to skate? Because Russ shot 11 of 31, and he took some ill-advised shots. Paul George gets to climb over the fence, and nobody sees that he's where he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
That's why Paul George, Skip, you can say...
He did give you one clutch shot with 39 seconds left that put them up 2. I'm going to give him a small amount of credit.
They were up 2 when he turned the ball over and let CJ come down.
Okay.
Now, you started out, Skip. Now, Paul George took a lot of these buckets from Dame Lillard because you know who started out on him? Russ. And then he cooked Russ early, and Billy Donovan said, Paul, you get it. Paul got into foul trouble. Paul had to go to the bench. This is why you saw that dipsy-do layup that Dame did. That's why Paul George backed up off him, because I'd rather give you, Skip, a 37-foot jumper as opposed to you getting by me with a 15-foot pull-up.
Yep.
Dame Lillard is 4 of 6 on 30-foot threes or further. 4 of 6.
It's a long way.
So that looked like a good shot to me.
He said it was a bad shot. You know what? He's taken after Russ in the postgame. Now he's at war with the media, too. It was a bad shot. He took a bad shot.
That's my problem, because Russ is acting the way he is. He's dragging Paul George in this bull jive.
Right into it.
Come on, Paul.
Everyone can do it.
That is correct. And I'm going to say it one more time. Russell is losing some of his clout, his cachet, his hall pass, so to speak, in this postgame. He's unlovable to me during and after games. The way he acts, all the chest beating, it's all premature to me, all that. And listen, the referee's got no use for Russell Westbrook. No. He cries and complains about every call.
Dame got fouled on a three-point shot, and somehow he got a side out of bounds. I'm like, hold on, he fouled him in the act of shooting the ball. They huddle up, and then they get it side out of bounds.
You know, Damian doesn't complain or bellyache or. He just plays.
Oh.
You know what? And he plays with poise and class and has like a dignity about him. I mean, I appreciate what he is. He's not Michael Jordan, but
we had this topic last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago, and the players voted most overrated.
Yep.
And I was like, how do you get the guy that...
Yep.
Russ. Now it's starting to make sense, Skip. His behavior... The guy asked, Barry Tremble asked him a simple question. Russ, you had a 15-point lead. What do you think went wrong? That's a good question. I don't really know. You know. What went wrong, I had the ball in my hands, and I kept coming down, jacking up shots, Barry. That's what went wrong. Paul George, my playoff piece sitting next to me, he had a turnover and missed 2 free throws. That's what went wrong. And we couldn't control Dame, and down the stretch, he made plays for other guys. That's what happened, Barry. I mean, man, next question. He got Paul George looking all side. Man, I'm glad they're gone. Guess what? We don't have to worry about Skip. We don't have to worry about next question.
Well, they're on pace to be a first-round exit for the next 5 years.
For the very foreseeable future.
Third straight. It's just hard to believe when you
see those numbers. For every year he averaged a triple-double, Skip. First-round exit. How that's working?
Yeah, but he's been...
Schroeder.
Bye-bye.
What time is it,
Schroeder, what time is it?
Okay, we are hearing some bad things now about Kyler Murray, which is interesting. Is it fact or fiction? We'll discuss next. Don't forget, you can check us out every day on the Fox Sports channel on SiriusXM. We will be right back.
No mercy.
Well, we're just one day away from the NFL draft and finally finding out if Kyler Murray will be the #1 overall pick. NFL.com asked a number of coaches and execs about Kyler, and the results weren't great. One quarterback's coach said, quote, Kyler, I don't think he's a big film guy. And an offensive coordinator said, quote, I'd be scared to death to take him. He does not like the process of Monday to Saturday. He loves Sunday. Shannon, would any of this concern you?
It would, because I understand how important, having played the game, how important film study is, Skip. And you know, even for a quarterback, it's of the utmost importance. And those guys that study film are the guys that are all-time great. You look at the Mannings, you look at the Tom Brady, the Drew Breeses, these guys, the Elways, these guys, Skip, spend a lion's share of the week preparing for Sunday, but it's in the film room. Because you need to know what the hell they're going to be doing on Sunday. You also need to know what the hell you're going to be doing on Sunday also. Skip, this would concern me because now maybe some of it is like, you know, they're trying to sully the kid up. But it strikes me, it sounds like to me, Skip, this is what they do. They get an opportunity, they get the kid in, and they have him do some film work. And they watch his body language. They look at him and see how interested he is in this process, because all of it, the 40 is a process. All that, the combine stuff, that's a process.
Yep.
On the field, that's a process. Film study is a process.
Sure.
We want to see, does he sit up straight, Skip? Is he as attentive as he is about throwing the football on the field? Is he as attentive as he is about other things? So we're watching all of that. And it seems to be maybe that his energy level starts to dissipate when the tape comes on. Because film study is a lot of this, Skip. Bzzz, bzzz, 3, 4, 5, no sound. You know, that's kind of what got me watching sporting events, Skip, with no sound, because I spent so much time watching game tape and it has no sound. So that's just the way I think I should watch sporting events also. Skip, this would concern me. I don't care how great a leader you are. You don't know what the hell you're doing on Sunday, Skip. Ain't nobody following you.
Yep.
Now, college, you got two choices. Now, they're going to do a list. They're going to say the best #1 overall quarterbacks. And then they're going to do another list. The biggest bust as the #1 overall pick.
It will.
How do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be a Elway or a Bradshaw or a Luck? Or you want to be Jamarcus Russell? Or you want to be a Ryan Leaf, although he wasn't? How do you want to be remembered? The choice is yours. Skip, we had a guy that works with us that told us was a #1 overall pick. And what did he say, Skip? I wish I had studied more. I wish I had studied. Now, it's hard for me to believe now.
Michael Vick.
Michael Vick.
Yep.
Michael Vick had, he was dynamic. The Michael Vick experience, Skip, can you imagine, like he said, with that kind of ability, had he known, had he studied more and known what the hell he was actually doing, he relied on a lot of God-given ability. And what they're telling you, and because when they say he's on his film is exceptional. Nobody can cast doubt on his film because it's spectacular, it speaks for itself. But there's a process because there are no Texas Tech, there are no TCUs. That's no disrespect to them, but everybody's Alabama.
A little bit.
Everybody in the NFL, Skip, can play. Those are the best of the best.
I got it.
I know that hurts you, Skip, that you hear this about your guy. It hurts you, Skip. I can tell. I was looking over that like, man, this hurting Skip right now.
You know why? I find it offensive. I just do. All these anonymous quotes, and I go back to on-the-record quotes from Charlie Casserly on NFL Network, and I'm going to reiterate what he said. He said after the Combine that comments he heard from various team insiders, these were the worst comments I ever got on a high-rated quarterback, and I've been doing this for a long time. Leadership about Kyler Murray, not good. Study habits, not good. Board work, below, not good. He backtracked a little bit a few days later, and he tried to make the point that if you compare him to Patrick Mahomes on college tape, I put this guy ahead of Mahomes. Trust me, anybody with half a football brain would put this tape ahead of what I saw from Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech.
Right.
It was off the charts great. It was statistically the greatest year any quarterback has ever played, even beyond Baker Mayfield's year before. And it won him, obviously, the Heisman Trophy. So let me give you just a quick bit of background on Kyler Murray. His father, Kevin, I covered when he was the quarterback at Texas A&M, and he started when he was a true freshman.
Wow. Okay.
Started for 4 years, got hurt his second year. But his first year, he led the Southwest Conference in total offense as a pure freshman.
Wow.
And he wound up making second-team All-American. Now, he was an option quarterback. He threw some, but he ran it some also.
Right.
But he was second-team All-American as a junior, and he beat Bo Jackson's Auburn team in the Cotton Bowl, and he was the MVP of a Cotton Bowl that I covered in, it would be the early 1986, January of '86. So just for the perspective. Now Kevin couldn't play pro football because he just wasn't that guy.
Right.
He was signed by San Francisco, couldn't make it. Calgary wanted him, he just didn't play. But anyway, he played high-level college football.
Okay.
Cliff Kingsbury became Kyler's soulmate when Kyler was a junior in high school because they clicked on sharing the same vision of offense. They could talk the same language about what Kyler saw is what Cliff sees on offense. Cliff is not a second-level thinker. He's a third-level. Now, it's college football offense, but he's a third-level college football thinker because he took some quarterbacks who didn't deserve to have the numbers that they put up, and he made them into respectable, potential upset kind of quarterbacks where once a year they would upset Oklahoma or somebody and have one big win. He was below 500 as a college football coach, but still, he could do special things on offense. So the Kyler Murray I watched last year, I kept telling you, he's a quiet warrior. His body language is one of supreme confidence that borders on arrogance, but it doesn't translate into a lot of chest beating. He didn't celebrate any touchdowns. There's no trash talking. There's no finger pointing. There's no look at me. There's no chest beating. There's nothing. He just plays. He had a serenity about him that comes with only very special athletes that you've been around, where you just watch them walk on the football field or the basketball court,
around him.
and you just said, that guy believes he is the guy.
Yes.
So Kyler is going to become the first ever to be drafted in the first round of both the NFL and the baseball draft.
Right.
He was the 9th overall pick of the Oakland A's. So this is all special stuff, and he was so good at baseball and football that he's just known from the start. He's really unique.
Right.
Okay, so that guy can also have a little bit of off-field arrogance where if you put him through the combine study groups where you're forced to go in and chalkboard or whiteboard for people, he just doesn't want to do it. It's a waste of his time. It's like beneath them. I got it. I got what you're saying, and it's how you're supposed to play the game. He's not going to play that game. He doesn't care about that game. His attitude is, watch my tape. See what I saw. Look at my reads. See what my coach what was he showing me and what I was seeing. And again, I don't know about this tape watching business. I don't know about being lazy or, I just want to play on Saturday.
So it's not just one guy saying it, Skip. It's not just one guy saying it.
But you said sully the kid's rep.
Yeah.
This happens every pre-draft to somebody. But forgive me for bringing this up, but I got to because it's starting to scream at me.
What?
Are we experiencing yet again the black quarterback syndrome before a draft? Is it possible?
It's possible.
Is it possible? Because we always, if somebody's going to go really high, and we've had, just to reiterate for people, Michael Vick went first overall in 01, Jamarcus Russell, who was obviously a big bust in 07, Cam went in 11, and Jameis went in 15. And we've had Donovan and RG3 went second overall, and we had McNair and Achilles Smith and Vince Young went third. So it's not like we haven't had any black quarterbacks drafted very high. But again, there's always a teardown factor.
All those guys that you mentioned, if something came out, well, Cam's a terrible leader. He's fake. He's inauthentic.
Yeah, I know.
There's always something going to come out. But Skip, here's the thing that I think that Kyler you have to guard against. And you see that a lot with supremely talented athletes, that they rely so much on their God-given ability. Guys that don't have that ability. Peyton Manning was not going to run away from anybody. Drew Brees and Tom Brady were not going to run away from anybody. So now it forced them into understand. And if you think about it, Skip, Tom Brady he knows that, look, the turnover in the NFL is great. So a guy might be coaching with the Jets one year, and he might be coaching somewhere else next year, but he's going to bring the same thing. Rex Ryan started at Baltimore. When he went to the Jets, he brought that same defense. He went to Buffalo, he brought that same defense. So guess what Tom Brady had? From watching film and notes, he had a notebook this high. So Rex couldn't fool him. Although he had great success, Tom has been there, done that. Peyton Manning, the recall, what you have to Skip, sometimes in hour 4 of watching tape, there's a defense that they're going to run. Now, you're going to get in the game on Sunday, and you're going to have to be able to recall that. That's going to be the difference.
I got it.
There are times, Skip, I would go into the game, and I'm tired of watching tape because I've watched tape all night at my home for 2 hours, 3 hours, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
I got it.
And in meetings. And then you walk to the line on Sunday, Skip, and you see a front. They only show the defense once or twice. But, Skip, there's no greater feeling than having seen something on tape, and then you get to the line of scrimmage, and here they come. Boy, I've been waiting.
I know. There's also no worse feeling than they're running something I've never seen before.
Exactly.
They're by you.
Right?
That's when you feel pressure. You feel pressure when you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
If you know what you're doing, No pressure.
Okay, so what did I see last year from Kyler Murray? I did not see from Michael Vick at Virginia Tech. Michael Vick ran to run.
Yeah.
He just took off because he was just better than everybody else on the college football field when he took off. He was looking to run before he was looking to throw. Unless the receiver was wide open, he's taking off.
Right.
Kyler moved to throw, to create throwing lanes because, as we know, he's short. He's going to be as short as Doug Flutie was.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to be that.
Right.
And yet Kyler always moved his electric feet, I told you, quickest feet I've ever seen on a football field, to create passing lanes to throw the football. Release is lightning quick. The accuracy, I even saw some quotes about he's not as accurate. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He's as accurate as Baker. Seriously. Baker's accuracies can come and go occasionally, too.
Well, the number says he's just as accurate.
Yeah.
The QBR says he's just as accurate. Touchdown to interception ratio says he's just as good, just as many pass yards. But Skip, you know, this is a necessary evil. It's kind of like, you know, you don't get to be in TV without watching TV. Man, I love being in TV, but I don't really like watching TV. Skip, it's kind of hard to play NFL quarterback without loving film. It's kind of hard. They kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, I just think it's the teardown factor. And I think some of the black quarterback syndrome is operating at a you know, like a subtext level.
I hope you're right.
Yeah.
And I hope these guys are wrong, but I'm just telling you, Skip, a lot of times they look at body language and, you know, it's like, wow, he doesn't seem as interested as watching tape as he does going on the football field throwing that out route.
There's just an arrogance about NFL scouts, about college players, especially quarterbacks, like they have no idea what's about to hit them. Okay? And there's a lot of truth to that. But every once in a while, somebody special comes along who can just do it at both levels, at the highest level.
Yeah, but it's hard, Skip. They're not going to be holding up a card.
No.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a card with Daffy Duck on one card and the Mickey Mouse on the other and the guy swimming, Michael Phelps on the other card.
No,
and you know what? No, they're going to call a play and the defense is going to come out. And the thing that you try and do, what you try to do with a rookie, you try to confuse him. You give him as many different looks because we want him to process as much information as he possibly can. We're going to speed that process up. Okay. Skip, I hope this all this is an attempt to try to sully the kid's name. And he loves watching tape. And he comes out like, okay, y'all don't think I like watching tape? I'm about to spend 5-6 hours a day.
Yep.
Because guess what, Skip?
And
in college,
by the way, I didn't mention the annual leak of the Wonderlic test.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you hear that one?
No, what do you...
I didn't hear this.
He had a 20, which is not great, but I remind everybody, Dan Marino had a 16.
Yeah.
It's really not good. Just for perspective.
Fitzpatrick had a 48.
48, and Tom Brady had a 33. So Mahomes had a 24. 24 to 20 is not that big a deal. Okay, so does it matter?
I'm not a
Hold
good
on.
test taker.
The dude ain't
I don't
taking a
wanna
math
take that.
test.
I don't
This
want to
ain't
take
chemistry.
that test.
Okay.
All I want to know, can you process information?
Yep.
That's it, Skip. Some guys do better at taking tests. I ain't no telling what, I might have got an 8. But I tell you what I could do. I could understand plays, I could read defenses, and I could process information on my feet. That's what you need to do.
I think you might have gotten a 48.
No, I ain't getting no 48.
You're underestimating yourself.
No, I ain't get no 48.
I think both of you
I don't know
guys
if I even broke 20.
would have me.
If you won Jeopardy, you could
Hey,
get the 40s.
I might, as a matter of fact, I might go on Jeopardy and take this guy down now. I'm tired of him winning like this.
good?
You know what? You would get steamrolled by this guy because there's never been. He is the Kyler Murray of Jeopardy.
Skip,
What about you, though?
Skip, this is ridiculous.
You could do well.
No, this guy's ridiculous.
I was like Ernestine says, I'm going to get you on Jeopardy, and I say, no, you're a prisoner of what are the
the topic, the questions.
Yeah.
Whatever the questions are,
Yeah.
you know, you give me the Olympics, you give me sports, NFL, something like that. But then you start getting Greek mythology and all that. What I'm gonna do with that?
Fortunately, guys, I don't think they're going to give you the sports.
They got to give me that.
No,
subjects.
I need history, I need literature, I need Shakespeare. That's
No.
what I'm feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well-
Yeah.
But I'm tired of this guy winning. So if I take a day or two, Skip, I'm going right over there to take him down.
Okay,
Because
you
it's right
start
across the
studying.
street. It's right across
You know what? You'd wind up in the red, and they'd send you home before final. That's what would happen.
I get $2,000.
Okay.
No mercy.
Odell Beckham Jr. and Le'Veon Bell were two of the biggest names to switch teams this offseason. Now they have something else in common. Neither is at their new team's voluntary workout program this week. Odell showed up for his press conference about 3 weeks ago, but he's reportedly working out here in LA. Shannon, you know anything about that? And there's no word if Le'Veon will miss all 3 days of the Jets mini camp this week. Shannon,
Yes.
are you okay with this?
Skip, you know how I feel about voluntary mini camps, but I feel that way for an individual that's been at a team for an extended period of time. where the offense isn't new, the defense isn't new. These teammates aren't new.
Yep.
Yeah, you have a handful of teammates, but for the most part, Skip, you're going to bring back, a 53-man roster. You're bringing back 38, 40 other guys. So, but when you go to a totally different system, you got to learn a new offense. You got to learn a new defense. Ingratiate your play. For me, Skip, I was there for the first voluntary minicamp when I changed teams with Baltimore. But they asked me, Brian and Oz, they asked me, okay, what are your thoughts? They're like, I don't really do voluntary. I say, but I'm going to come.
Okay, that's significant.
Yes, I said, I want to come because these guys don't know me.
They don't.
They need to see what helped the Shannon Sharpe that helped win 2 Super Bowls. That's a Pro Bowl. They need to see my work ethic, and how I approach the game. I don't want them to think, oh, here's a big-time free agent. He got this money. Now he don't want to be around us. So all that goes into my thinking. If these guys if Le'Veon was still in Pittsburgh, Odell was still in the Giants, I got no problem. But in a new situation, I think you should go and ingratiate yourself with your new teammates. I think you should get try to get a grasp on your offense. And I get it. Freddie Kitchens said, well, these guys, and Adam Gase said, well, they have iPads. Hell, you have iPads in the regular season. But you don't tell the guy just show up on Sunday, do you, Skip? No, you have them there at practice. So I just think in this situation, I would have preferred the guys to go, stay a week or two, and then keep it moving, then come back for the mini camps.
Thank you.
But just to not show up at all, I would have thought Le'Veon, after being away from the game of football, I'd have been the first one there. Adam Gase couldn't have beat me into that building. I'd have been there, Skip. After being away from the game for a year, oh, yeah, I'm there, bright and early.
So I am proud of you because you have backed off your previous stance on this because you kept telling me I never went to volunteers, but I didn't know about the first one in Baltimore.
You're right, but that was a new team.
Different.
Once a new team, but once in my rookie, rookie, you ain't have no choice. You have to wait till your college career is over. Yeah, I had my graduating class, and then I came. But once that was over, Skip, I never went to any more voluntary mini camps in Denver. Never. In Baltimore, that was a totally different situation. Like these guys, these are unfamiliar situations.
They are.
Odell is not a Giant anymore. Le'Veon is not a Steeler.
Yeah.
And I know what you did for the Steelers. I know what you did for the Giants. But let me see your work ethic. Let me see, because there's some young guys that's watching.
Are they? Yeah, this isn't about iPod. No. This is about eye test of your teammates. Both Odell and Le'Veon missed crucial opportunities yesterday to show the team what they can be made of, show a new commitment. And you can condemn me as old school. You can say I'm talking like the old man who said I walked 5 miles to school in the snow barefooted every day, right? No. I just know what it takes to win. And I don't know that either of these kids, and they're still kids to me, if they really get it, if they really care about winning, you do know what it takes to win.
Yeah.
You do know what that locker room felt like in Denver, and especially what that locker room felt like in Baltimore.
Right.
And it was strong.
Right.
It had fierce unity to it. It had pride. It had work ethic. Ray Lewis is one of the hardest workers ever. And it rubs off on everybody because clearly Odell and Le'Veon are two of the biggest off-season acquisitions.
Absolutely.
Maybe right at the top of the list.
Yes.
Antonio's up there. But these are two keys to go to new teams where the first day, if I don't know how many reported, 2/3 of the team, 3/4 of the team, they just want to look up and say, the new guy, who's the biggest guy, in Odell's case, the highest paid guy, they just like to see him walk through the door. He could just go through the motions, but
the teams, Skip, the teams will never say this, but when they sign you to a big-time deal,
Yeah.
they expect you to be a leader, both on and off the field. Now, you can say, well, that ain't what I signed up for. I came here to do my job. Okay, that's fine and good too. But when you're in a newer environment and you're trying to, because you gotta run away from what you left at the old place. What do they say about them? They're not team-friendly guys.
Yep.
So you want to dispel that myth, be it true or untrue. That's what's being said about both guys. So you want to dispel that. You want to go ahead and squash that. Oh, no. Odell and Le'Veon, they're nothing like that, what they said at their previous team. These guys are here, and you want to, like I said, you just want to get around your teammates. You want to pick, who you can laugh and joke with, who you know, hey, how you doing? You're just teammates, who you're friendly with. All that is built at this point in time. Like I said, come for a week or two. Then after that, you can dip and don't have to come back. You have to come back to the mandatory minicamp.
Come for a day. Seriously, come for a day.
No. Not a day, Skip, because Odell went for a day, did a press conference, and dipped. No, you need to be.
I mean,
you know,
just
you do it.
put your
right.
workout stuff on and show them.
And just, hey, man, I'm Odell. Hey, I'm Le'Veon.
I know.
Blah, blah, blah.
I got it.
That's how
I
you
got
do it.
You know, for today's younger players, it's now not cool to do voluntary workouts. like you, I don't do that because the NFLPA is behind you.
Right.
Don't do it if you
Right.
don't want to do it. But again, at some point, and it may be too late for Odell and Le'Veon, they're going to grow up, wise up, and realize that the way to win is you can't be going to all touring with Drake or making rap albums. And I got no problem with any of that. But at some point, your time is short in this league. It's going to be gone before you know it. And it sounds like, again, I'm going way old school here, but trust me, I know it'll be over before you blink.
It is.
And you'll look back on it like, what was I thinking? I didn't win anything because neither of these kids have won a thing yet. Odell's played in one playoff game and he went to South Beach to get ready for it.
Exactly.
And he stunk it up at Lambeau, right?
Yeah.
And what's Odell? He's played in
You
four.
mean Le'Veon?
I mean Le'Veon. Yeah, Le'Veon's 2-2 in playoff games and did play barely in that one AFC Championship game, and he apparently wasn't healthy in that. The point is, neither has anything to show for it in the postseason, right?
And you get a chance, Skip, to figure out your personality because my personality is what it is. So you know me, I'm going in there joking. I'm cracking on everybody from the jump.
Fine.
And so people get an opportunity to bash up.
Good.
You know, some guys they like that, then some guys like, hey, I ain't gonna be around him because he ain't gonna joke on me.
You're checking them out.
Yes, absolutely. Because
Okay.
I need to know, hey, at some point in time, Skip, it's gonna get real intense. And I need to know who I can count on.
Yep. So what did I count on? For what it's worth, and it's worth very little, but it was important to me, Ezekiel Elliott showed up for the first day of voluntary.
That is true.
That's a big deal to me.
I mean, he might have had 2 slabs of ribs when he
might
showed up,
have.
Jenny, but he showed up.
Might have.
It looks good. It's about making a good impression.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it is old school, but it also works.
Voluntary, well, I mean, when Skip said, hey, man, we got voluntary. You know, they say, we want to get you and Skip together.
Voluntary
Skip said, no.
practice?
Skip said, no. He shot it down. I said, no, I don't rehearse.
I don't
He
know
said,
about that.
Skip said, I only do live TV. I said, I sure appreciate that, Skip. I'm back to Atlanta. I'm gone.
Now that is a fact. But that's not about voluntary
That's what, hey,
OTAs.
they told me that you and Skip go do this. They had me fly out here, Jenny. I'm out here in my hotel room. I'm chopping. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to
Ready.
get Skip.
Okay, but the point was.
Why'd you tell me that when I was in Atlanta?
But we'd already done it on first take.
I know, but
we'd done how many shows? A dozen?
Yeah, but why didn't you tell me that when I was in Atlanta? Why you get me here, get me dressed, I get to the set,
just
and you
mentally
looking like,
preparing.
oh, I don't rehearse.
Okay, but the only way to get good at this is to do it live.
Yes.
We are right now live. You can't edit anything, right?
We're
We're
not-
not on tape.
no.
We're live.
But you could have told me that you don't do
But
rehearse
you can't
TV.
practice it.
I know.
My heart's not in it.
Okay, but
I know
why-
it doesn't count.
You know, but I was on my couch. Instead of you having me fly 5 hours out here.
You
And then,
didn't tell me that.
Maybe Shannon, he's playing mental games.
what he got me out here, I'm ready to go. I'm sitting across from him, just like Jenny, real talk, just like this. He looks over there at the time, different boss, and he's like,
Different boss.
Yeah, he's like,
Boss.
what are we doing? He's like, we gonna do the run through. He's like, I don't do rehearse TV.
We don't rehearse around
Hey.
here. We just go all in.
I said, Skip said, you don't do rehearse TV. I took I'm up out of here.
Ran back home.
I went back to the hotel, got me a flight back to Georgia.
Yeah, but I'd already won some Super Bowls.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's worked out well for
Yeah.
you
I
guys.
think
No
we're doing
rehearsing
okay.
around here. Live TV. I never know what I'm signing up for. Next up, is it panic time for Skip Spurs?
No,
We're gonna
I don't want to
discuss
talk about
Yeah, for
this.
him,
them
it's
I'm gonna
panic
leave.
time.
We're
I'm
not
going back to
rehearsing
Atlanta.
this. Next.
No mercy.
Skip, I am truly sorry about
I'm
this
not.
next story. I know it's never easy. The Spurs lost Game 5 in Denver
Boink.
last night, and they are now 1 game away from elimination. The Nuggets made 50% of their shots and 14 threes to blow out the Spurs by 18. Game 6 is tomorrow night, though, in San Antonio. So, Skip, now, how much of a shot do you give the Spurs to win this series?
How much?
I am sticking with Spurs in 7.
Okay.
But I do so with my last ounce of faith. And it might be about a quarter of an ounce of faith. Because last night I saw no signs of life. And I want to make this point very strongly. I have been covering the NBA, writing about, talking about carefully watching the NBA since the mid-1970s when I covered the Los Angeles Lakers for the Los Angeles Times. And in all my years of covering playoff basketball, I have never, ever seen a momentum swing like this one. Because I want to remind everybody, for a good while, this felt like the Spurs were going to sweep the Nuggets. Now it feels like the Nuggets have swept the Spurs, even though there's another game remaining. That's what it feels like to me. Now it feels like a non-competitive mismatch, a joke, a shameful embarrassment for my Spurs, and a nightmare for me. And yet, I'm clinging to only this. I'm going to remind you, Mr. Sharpe,
What happened?
that my team went to Denver in Game 1 and won so impressively in a place in which the Nuggets had the best home record in the NBA. In Game 2, still in Denver, my Spurs had not one but two 19-point leads. My Spurs went home and dominated Game 3. And my Spurs led by 12 points after one quarter of Game 4. So that means for 13 straight quarters to start this series, my Spurs were clearly the better team. And all of a sudden, second quarter, Game 4 Saturday, the Nuggets flipped the proverbial switch. And my Spurs got electrocuted by that switch. Because for the last 7 quarters, the Nuggets have not only dominated, they have intimidated the San Antonio Spurs. Every shot the Nuggets shoot now, it looks like when it leaves their hand, they believe it's going in, because almost all of them do. Every shot my Spurs now shoot, it looks like they're just hoping it grazes the rim, that they don't get embarrassed. The Nuggets, not known for particularly suffocating defense, have absolutely throttled the Spurs with their defense to the point where if one of my ball handlers gets stuck in a double team, he can't pass the basketball. He can't find an open man. They're getting pushed on offense all the way out to the midcourt line. It is utter domination. I've never seen anything quite like it because the Nuggets now just won it way, way, way more than my Spurs do. So it's up to Coach Popovich. If he's that good.
Don't do that, Skip.
I don't like his little between quarters interviews. He's always a little surly, a little it's just terrible. He even went after, who was it last night? Steve Smith.
No, that was Dennis Scott.
Dennis Scott.
Yeah, 3D.
Yeah, you got it, 3D.
But you never know how you're going to.
You never know. But now it's up to him. If he's that guy, if he should be in the Hall of Fame already, as Kevin McHale was talking about, somebody was talking about, Isaiah Thomas was talking about it, then you got to come up with a big fix here. You got to come up with a new strategy, a new lineup change, something extraordinary to flip the switch back. Because I saw it for 13 quarters. I saw my team be better, and now I'm not sure what's left of my team.
You're asking him to put a bicycle tire on an 18-wheeler and make it
really?
functional. Yeah. As great as he can't get them to do nothing. But anyway, Skip, baby.
Well, they look like an 18-wheeler for 13 quarters. That's a lot of quarters.
But then they had a flat tire. I'm calling 911. What is your emergency? I'd like to report a missing person. Derek White, he's about 6'3", got faded, close cut on the side, bushy fro on the top.
Wow.
Where's the superstar, Skip? You told me he was
By the
on
way, could we see that shot he made in the first quarter? Could we see it? Do we have that? I just like to see that shot he made.
Well, he only had 3 points in the first half, so
Special.
Was that it?
Special. Watch this. Whoops. Ooh, God, that was slick.
Yeah, that was good.
You know what? In Game 3, I saw that all game long, and then I saw that early last night, and then I didn't see it anymore.
What'd you see in Game 4?
I don't know.
What'd you see in Game 4?
I saw little blips.
The Nuggets got this thing going in Mile High to let you know you're 5,280 feet, which is 1 mile above sea level.
Yep.
Yeah, they got loud up in that thing. Jamal Murray, Skip, look, when they win, he's averaging 24 points a game.
He's been extraordinary.
9 of 17 from the 3, that's 53%.
Yep.
In the 2 losses, he's 11 points a game, 2 of 11, 18%. Skip, LaMarcus Aldridge didn't play very well. He missed some point blank. I'm talking about at 6'11", 6'10", 6'11", you can't miss those shots.
You know what? He looked scared to me last night. I'm serious. He looked scared.
What Joker do to him? Let me see Joker. Joker had 16, 11, and 8. I'm going to put another triple dub on him, Skip. Look, I told you this was going to happen. I foretold this. Sharpadamus. Yes. Yeah. Wise men.
You're 34 cases down to me at Diet Dew, but you're.
Well, I'm gonna get it back. You know what, Skip? A part of me, and I hate pushing off wins because you never push off wins because you never know what. But I kind of want the Nuggets to win. Game 6. Because I don't want to just be a little right when the Nuggets
So
win.
you're getting a little scared
Yeah,
now?
no. I don't want to be a little right when if they win in Game 6.
Yeah.
I want to be all the way right when they win in 7 games, like I told you, and I get the case. Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm sticking with the case.
You
I don't
stick
think
with
we even bet one. I just threw it out on the table
Well,
yesterday
I'll
because
take it.
I stick with my conviction.
Okay.
I have the courage of my conviction,
Well,
unlike
take it.
somebody across from me who just flips on the
I don't-
slightest provocation.
Hey.
After 2 games, the Spurs are in charge of this series.
They
They're in charge.
They were in charge,
Yeah.
but we took that charge back. So you could be the guy that you want to.
So you're
I ain't
a
gonna, hey,
you're a wee nugget now.
Skip that homeboy. I ain't snitching. I ain't telling on nobody. I'm gonna go do my time. I'm not that guy. I'm telling on everybody. I'm coming up out of here. So Skip, baby, you have your conviction, and guess where you and your conviction gonna be in about 3 days?
Back on my couch,
Yeah, exactly.
where I watched that nightmare last night. And as soon as the ball left a Nugget's hand, I would turn to Ernestine. That's good.
Yeah.
I'd say, how do you know this? That's good.
Even my guy,
Worry about
good.
you
Even though my guy
That's
Torrey
good.
Craig didn't do anything last
Yep.
night, Will Barton came in and played real well off the bench. Ooh, he would give it to him.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
special.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
Don't do that. As long as
Torrey Craig.
if we
Yeah,
can
scared.
if we can keep Jamal Murray
Yeah.
and Joker, I need more than 11 shots though.
Yep.
But we had
Listen,
we had 7 guys in double
I got to
figures.
give this
Skip.
up, and Mike Malone was talking about it after the game. Joker is a special basketball
Yeah.
player. He can pass it even better than he can shoot it.
Yes.
And you just don't see it. And he's yet another Euro big man because he's 7 feet tall. This country does not produce jokers. We produced one named Bill Walton, and it was back in the 1970s. I'm serious. We don't produce 7-foot kids who can do this.
Nah.
And he's still like 20 and 25, played a couple of years in Europe.
Well, you've had 2 in the last 40 years. You had Bill Walton, you had Larry Bird. That's it.
But I mean, of 7 footers.
oh, yeah, no,
It's just one.
No,
It was just
yeah,
one.
just one, yeah.
But this, they just come. They're tough and they're highly skilled.
Wouldn't you take a Larry Bird right now?
Yeah. Would I take one?
Yeah.
Well, sure I would. But I'm talking about 7 foot.
Oh no. They're coming from Europe.
Yeah.
They
I've
young.
said for years.
They teach them. They teach them how to pass early. Look, 7-foot big man. You gonna play with your back to the basket. Now, I mean, Dirk revolutionized. You got Kevin Durant, but it's just not. I mean, we just don't grow them like that, Skip. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then Joker gets out there at the 3-point line and he looks for a second. And he says, "Really?
Oh, you gonna stand?
You're
You
gonna
gonna
do
stand in the lane,
And,
Marcus?
and then it leaves his hand, and I turn to Ernestine. That's good.
Yeah.
Swish.
And just
The Nuggets don't just make 3-point shots; they swish every one of them.
They
It's just
demoralize
like
it.
nothing but the bottom of the net. It just pops. I'm waiting for it to pop completely over and.
And just think, Skip, the Nuggets had him and Nurkic.
Yeah.
They had both of them bigs, 2 7-footers.
Yep.
And not to mention Nurkic is hurt, and they took down OKC.
They
Did you see that photo of Nurkic crutches? Dame had his crutches, and they're taller than Dame.
Really?
No way.
Yes. Yeah, yes.
Really?
He had a shirt on, Skip. Got bricks. Next question. That's what
Or
Nurkic had a
next
T-shirt on.
Nurkic had that on. Well, I liked it that Portland tweeted their official account. Next question after the game.
Yes.
Okay.
You know,
Oh, I
that's
love it.
actually someone who used to work here at Fox Sports.
Really?
Yeah, in charge of social media.
I did not
Really
know
good job.
that.
Yeah, she's really
Inside.
good.
You need to let me be in charge of your social media.
In my social
Yeah,
media?
let me be in charge of it. I get you right.
Get me right. I got 3 million Twitter.
Whoa, the Twitter, they don't do that. No, they don't do
So
Twitter.
you want to help with
IG is where it's at.
Could you help my account, please?
Yeah, we got you going. You got to post,
We
Jenny.
got you
I got to
going?
catch up to you guys
Yeah, we-
one day, you know. Just
I mean, post when you at Wally's.
throwing away my hangout
I don't
spots.
know what Wally's is.
Oh,
It's a restaurant
Okay.
in Beverly Hills. You guys
Oh,
would like it.
oh,
Check it out. Or Santa Monica. I'll take you. I'll
No,
make sure I show him a good time. Okay, why did Paul George take a shot at Damian Lillard last night? We'll explain the situation there and then.
No mercy.
Damian Lillard scored 50 points to close out the series against the Thunder last night. The game was tied, and he chose to shoot a 37-foot three-pointer over Paul George to win it. After the game, PG called out Dame's shot selection. Take a listen.
I mean, that's a bad shot. Care what anybody says, that's a bad shot. But, hey, he made it. That story won't be told, that it was a bad shot. We live with that.
Lillard responded on Twitter with a simple LOL. So, Shannon, what did you make of those comments from Paul George?
PG doesn't want to give Dame credit. Skip, he's sitting up on the desk at the podium with a guy that took 15 bad shots that night. Just last night. Not forget the regular season.
Yep.
And then because I could see if Dame heaved the ball, but that was Dame's normal shot. He didn't add anything extra, Skip. That's the way Dame Lillard shoots. He shoots the ball like that. And what we see now that these guys are gotten so good at shooting the three, there's really the Dames and the Steph Currys and the James Harden, the Clay. Skip, there is no bad shot for these guys. They practice all these shots during the course of practice.
And he said he often practices that shot.
Yes!
And by the way, earlier in the game, he had made exactly that shot from that distance.
Exactly.
Yep.
How many times did we see him come off the screen at the top of the key between two defenders? Let it go, Skip. I think those are bad shots compared to that one because he's sizing you up, PG, the whole while. He knows exactly where he wants to get to. He walks the ball up. He could have went left, but that's not what he did. He could have stayed at the top of the key. That's not what he did. He started easily, gradually going to his right, and then he steps further so you can contest the shot, and boom. Give him credit. And what we're starting to see from Paul George, he doesn't want to give anybody credit because remember, he tried to downplay what Patrick Beverley had done to him when they played the Clippers. At some point in time, you can play great defense, Skip, but if the guy plays offense better, you just chalk it up. Hey, he got me on that one. Man, I had that ball well covered. Great throw, great catch. Pitch, hey, you make the perfect pitch, the guy gets wood on it, it's out of the park, Skip. Sometimes you have to give, it's not what you didn't do, it's what the other guy did do.
Yep.
Just give credit and move on. You're going home. But for you to try to downplay that PG, that's wrong, bro. You wrong for that one.
Well, his PG, as in point guard, is rubbing off on him in post-game interviews, right?
Yes.
Right?
So
because
true.
That's Russ's attitude, demeanor, surly, disrespectful, and so he couldn't even give Damian Lillard any respect.
None.
Because it was a hellacious great shot. It's as you know, it's hard to jump and shoot the ball that far and keep it on line without just throwing it, without just shoving it or shot putting it. And it was a stroke. It was pretty. It was real. It left his hand and it just felt right. It looked good to me.
He made it seem like Ennis Cantor shot that ball. But did PG know that up until that, when he shot that shot, he was 3 of 5 from that distance in the game? Did you know that? He had already made 9 threes, Skip, had 47. He made it seem like the dude was 0 for his previous 8 threes and only had 15 points. PG, he had 47 points. He had 9 threes, and he was 3 of 5 from 30 feet or further in the game.
And the reason Paul should have given him credit is Paul played it as well as you can play
Yes!
it. And he's 6'8". He's 5 inches taller than Damian Lillard. And he extended fully and got a hand up without fouling and bothered that shot as best he could bother it. And he still swished it.
Yes.
Okay? You just say,
What else could he
that's
do?
too good.
Right? Hey, that's what you, Skip, that's the one you turn and look to your coach. What you want?
Basically
like
from
when
the
Michael
logo.
started stroking him against the very Blazers, not this Blazer, but the Portland, Skip. I mean, he just like, what? I don't know what happened. Bro, Paul, there's nothing you can do. He had already scared him, Skip, because remember you said, Dame, how do you let Dame get a layup? So he had already blew by Paul George. Paul knows he has the quickness and the handles to get around him. Which would you rather a Dame Lillard attempt, Skip? A 37-foot 3 or a 15-foot 2? Paul George waited, okay, I'm going to play this. You're not getting to the rim. You're not getting in the lane. If you make this shot, it's like a Hail Mary, Skip. I got the lead. If you could complete a 70-yard Hail Mary, that's why you get so upset with Coach Belichick.
Yep.
Do you actually think Ryan Tannehill, who missed the previous 3 games with a sore shoulder, can heave the ball 70 yards? Yeah. If he does, you got it. You deserve to win. Paul, he made a 37-foot 3. You played it as well as you can play it. Hey, I did everything. I contested it. Give Dame credit. That's normally what they do. Hey, he made a heck of a shot. Oh, I'm going to ask you this, Paul. You going to tell your kids about this game? You going to tell them? You're talking about, the story won't be told. Are you going to tell your kids or grandkids, man, your dad, your papa, Man, Dame Lillard put a 50-piece on me and hit a 37-foot game winner. You're not telling that story. You know why? Because you in OKC. Story ain't going to be told because they're going to blame Russ.
That is correct. And Paul George today can shrink back into these small-town shadows in my hometown of Oklahoma City, right? Which is exactly why he went to Oklahoma City and then stayed in Oklahoma City.
Because what happened, Skip, when he was the big fish in Indiana,
What
and he was coming
happened?
up small.
He kept coming up against the king.
And
What did I always tell you about George Paul, as I called him? He was a poor man's LeBron, except he was actually a destitute man's LeBron, right? Because he just genuflected at the mere sight of LeBron, and he was the man in Indiana. They had some good teams, man.
Yeah, they did.
But LeBron
But
couldn't
see,
do
Skip,
that.
he got the blowback for being the man
He
in a
did.
small market.
Yep,
You're gonna,
he did.
even though it's a small market, you're going to get the blowback because we criticize him because, Paul, you got to take that final shot. Remember game one, Skip? They had him on the ropes.
Yeah, they did.
You got to take that shot, and then he passed the ball to C.J. Miles with 1 second. C.J. shoots it. Well, I need to take that last shot. Bro, you had the ball and you passed it
I
twice.
fell on my living room floor and rolled over 3 times. I'd never seen anything quite like it. Twice he said, I don't want any part of this.
Right, and then when the guy shoots the ball, I got to take that shot.
Remember, it was Saturday afternoon. It's game 1. And if you win that game, if you make one of those shots, whew, LeBron's in a heap of trouble.
He is.
Right? Nope, he wasn't.
But I got to I got to get the ball.
Yeah.
Paul, you had the ball twice. But again, he goes under the fence unscathed because we're talking about Russ, and Russ didn't play particularly well. He had some good moments, but Paul George again, we're not going to talk about those missed free throws. We're not going to talk about that turnover, and then he going to criticize. Man, if I was Dame, if I was Dame, I was like, the guy you sitting next to took 15 bad shots just tonight.
You would have tweeted that?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
No, you would IG'd that. You don't do Twitter.
No, I do. Because, he done took a shot at me. Because you remember, Skip, when in Game 3, he doing all this and what?
He was pretty animated.
Now all of a sudden.
No more.
Now I don't know what really happened. Oh, you don't? Dame 50-piece. McDonald's still do 50 pieces.
They do?
Yeah, do a 50-piece.
Really?
Yep, Dame got one last night.
He got one. So speaking of numbers, I do appreciate the fact that Russell Westbrook and Paul George do play in my hometown and they stay there, but in part they stay there for the wrong reason because Russell Westbrook makes $41 million a year. Paul George makes $34 million a year. That's a lot of money for those two, right?
Yeah.
And yet they can play in a small market with a little less media pressure, and Russell has no pressure on him to even answer questions from the columnist of the Oklahoman, Barry Trammell. So they can get away with near murder, like with the media, and they can go unscathed. They just get pass after pass.
Well, maybe the local media doesn't condemn Russ, but the outside media does. Paul George go unscathed in both situations.
Yep, he does. But in the end, that game to me last night was about Russell Westbrook, as I call him, because he's still a 2-guard masquerading as a point guard. And I take not one whit away from what he has accomplished over the last 3 years, because it's just virtually impossible to average 3 straight triple-doubles, but it gets you nowhere when it really counts. Because, again, nobody plays harder, but he plays as hard as he can every possession of every game. And you get in a game where you have a 15-point lead with 7 minutes and 12 seconds left, you got to pull back on the throttle.
Smart now.
Yeah, now you got to figure out, how do I get this game literally home to Oklahoma City?
Yeah, how do I get the car? Hey, you're not a big Daytona. Skip, I'm up. I'm in the lead. I'm in the last turn. As long as I don't wreck, I got this. So I don't need to be fancy. I don't need to be doing all that other stuff. Hey, just keep it, come down the embankment, bring it home. Now I'm doing donuts.
Celebrating. Do you think the fan base is going to get tired of this, though?
No.
It's the only game in town except for University of Oklahoma football, but they're so beloved, and that's why Russ and Paul are there, because they're going to get breaks and passes. But I'm sure deep down, a lot of Thunder fans, and I have a bunch of friends who are Thunder fans that I grew up with, I think they're getting uneasy about Russell because they have a love-hate with him because he's not lovable. He doesn't do anything very lovable. It's sort of cute to watch his attire before games. You don't really love a lot of it, but at least it's creative, it's clever, it's outside the box. So he's sort of loved for his attire and his approach and his fearlessness and what he chooses to wear. But as far as the basketball, These are hardcore good fans. They know their basketball. To me, Oklahoma's even more of a basketball state than a football state. That's how I grew up there. It was more with basketball than football. Texas is more the football state. But the point is that I think they're starting to see him objectively, and he's not going to have the clout that he used to have. He's not going to be able to treat the media the way he used to because people are going to call him on it.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. He's a superstar that stayed.
Yep.
The other superstar they had left.
Yep.
So they're going to always have an affinity for him because KD left.
I got it.
And the thing for me, that I dislike even more is the way he treats the media. Bruh, do your job. Yeah. If you stop shooting 40%, you stop shooting 29%, and stop worrying about your stats and win some games, just do if you do your job, they're not asking you how much money, all this other stuff. Skip, they just asking him, Russ, you had a 15-point lead in the ball game, under 7 minutes. What went wrong?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't really know. Really? You out there. So that explains why you didn't win. Because he don't know what went wrong, Skip. That's exactly why they didn't win.
Yep.
I think the fan base would get tired of that, too.
Okay.
I mean, if he keeps doing that.
You're right, but from a national perspective, his legacy is starting to smell like that he's a stat-padding loser. That's how it's going to come across. And I know that's harsh today, but 3 straight first-round exits and 4-12 post-Kevin Durant in the postseason.
But he got a triple-double.
Yeah, okay. Well, is that it?
That's what he got a triple-double.
That's all we got, though.
31 shots, 29 points. Yeah. When is that good?
It's interesting. It's interesting. They've got a lot to think about and a lot of changes.
Yeah, well, Paul, Paul, you're going to be unscathed, Paul. Yep. Nobody's going to ever hold you accountable for coming up short. But let Paul George had done that in that Lakers uniform. Skip. He didn't want that. He didn't want that, Skip, because he's been the man before and been criticized. See, Russ is always going to get, because Russ is easy. Russ low-hanging fruit. Sometimes I even hate talking about Russ because it's so easy, because I already know. Even if I don't watch the game, I can just wake up, he probably shot the ball about 30 times. He probably made 10 of them.
Yep.
I already know. That's easy. But old Paul George?
Yep.
Old playoff Pete? Nah, playoff Pete. Not today, bro. You're not going unscathed.
Not today. They're done for now. Should NFL teams be worried about drafting Kyler Murray? We got a new angle to this story. D'Angelo Hall is here. He's going to answer that question next.
No mercy.
We're just one day away from the NFL draft and finally finding out if Kyler Murray will be the #1 overall pick. NFL.com asked a number of coaches and execs about Kyler, and the results weren't great. One quarterback's coach said, quote, Kyler, I don't think he's a big film guy. And an offensive coordinator said, quote, I'd be scared to death to take him. He does not like the process of Monday to Saturday. He loves Sunday. We're joined by FS1 NFL analyst D'Angelo Hall. So, D'Angelo, would this concern you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it would concern anybody who's trying to put a winning product on the football field. When I first got into the National Football League, I thought it was just run fast, catch ball, hit guy, make plays. I thought it was that simple. It's not. It's not. What I tell a lot of young kids who always say, I hate school, I hate school. I'm like, well, if you want to be a pro athlete, especially football, we're probably only on the football field for an hour and a half max a day. The rest of that time, we're in the classroom. We're trying to figure out what the opponent is doing. We're trying to master what we're asked to do. And so to think that a player and a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback and a quarterback at that doesn't like that part of the game, what makes Tom Brady great and Aaron Rodgers and all these other guys great is not simply that they can throw the football. It's that they can anticipate some of the things that's going to happen to them on a football field. I heard Uncle Shay talk about Michael Vick. And Michael Vick, when we played together in Atlanta, he was probably one of the most gifted natural athletes that ever stepped on the field. That was 19 years ago.
Yeah.
And so the game has changed and evolved a lot. And he could get away with that back then where it was just, hey, a lot of run games, a little bit of option passing game, and just very simplified passing down the field threats. Now it's 4 or 5 wides. And so I need my quarterback to understand exactly what's happening to him, exactly what their defense is doing, what they're anticipating, what they like to do. because all you can do is hope to try to get some of the answers to the test when you're on that football field.
Correct.
In preparation, that's what you're doing. You're studying, trying to get the answers to the test. And that test is when that blitz comes, can you audible? Can you make the plays? Can you see some of the other little nuances in the game? And so, you know, if this report is true, I would just urge Kyler to reevaluate that part of it. Because if you want to be successful in the National Football League, you have to be a student of the game. You don't even have to be a great athlete or a great thrower of the football. But if you are a student of the game, they will find a place for you on the football field.
Wow.
You know, Skip, it's almost like when you study, it's like you have it's like you steal the test, steal the entire test. Okay, the instructor realizes this test has been stolen. Now, the answer was A on the original test, but he switches it and makes it C. Well, if you didn't know that, because that's what you do in football when you study tape. You hope they give you something, Skip, but you know they're not gonna deviate that much. You can't. You don't have enough practice time to revamp your entire defense. To say what we've been doing the last 4 weeks, what we've been doing the last 10 weeks, we're gonna go totally away from that. Instead of being a cover one team, we're gonna be all cover two. We're gonna be all cover six kick, which is 2 deep man, 2 deep with a bracket on the outside. Okay, no. I just skip. The thing is for that position, film is of the utmost importance. You don't even because I believe the quarterback is the least talented position of all the positions. Because most of the quarterbacks, all they can do is play quarterback. Peyton Manning is not playing any other position in the NFL but quarterback. Tom Brady, just that. Drew Brees, just that.
Oh, but it's the hardest position to play in sports.
But it doesn't require talent. It
requires,
it's a mental.
It requires arm talent and foot talent in the pocket. It just does.
But what he's saying, can you put a 41-year-old at corner and say, hey, go out there and lock him up? Besides Darryl Green.
But Darryl,
this is an extraordinary 41 we're talking about.
But the fact of the matter is that it's there.
He's doing it with his head.
That's my point.
With his mind. He's sharpening his mind.
See, the thing is when you play a skill position and the speed starts to dissipate, well, you got to get up out of there. Well, Tom Brady doesn't rely on speed. He relies on this. So as long as that's sharp, he can continue to play.
Is accuracy a skill or a talent? Because I think it's a talent. I think it's a gift.
Both. I think it's both.
But Skip, you can be as accurate as you want to, but remember how they fool them sometimes because you don't realize that guy is there and he's there, but you thought he was going to be somewhere else. Well, if you don't know anything, if you don't like to study tape, you're not putting that 3-4 hours in a day, Skip, they're going to get you more times than not. Those guys, Tom Brady, he doesn't have the big double, the 15, the 17 INTs like some of the other guys. Aaron Rodgers, they avoid that because they know where you should be in this defense. Sometimes you can fool them. Sometimes a guy like Ed Reed made the greatest interception I've ever seen. Skip, he's playing single high safety.
I know this play.
He's playing against Peyton Manning. He starts one way.
I know the play, too.
And as soon as Peyton knows it, he's going away. He takes off and runs and intercepts the ball. It's the greatest interception I've ever seen. Study film work. Yeah. Peyton's thinking, he's finna go over here. I'll be able to either touchdown to Reggie Wayne. Ed Reed also knew that. Skip, I hope it's not true.
Yeah.
And if it is true, I hope someone can get in his ear and say, son, in order for you to maximize what you are, this is of the utmost importance.
I'm going to say this again. I find all of this offensive, and I think it falls into the category of classic quarterback pre-draft teardown.
Yeah.
And it could...
Skip, he's going to be number one. How they going to tear him down?
It could operate even more strongly because said quarterback is a black quarterback. But I'm not sure about that. I just have a deep feeling that could be operating a little more strongly here. But I'm going to say this again. Kyler's father was a very good college quarterback who started for 4 years, started as a true freshman at Texas A&M. Now he's an option quarterback for the most part, but he did throw it some, and he was really good as a true freshman. He led the old Southwest Conference in total yards. And I think Kyler learned a lot from his father because I've been around his father. I covered his father. He's a smart guy. And listen, Cliff Kingsbury would not have clicked and bonded with Kyler when he was a junior in high school if Kyler wasn't able to, as Cliff says, talk ball, because their connection was about talking second and third level football. What was he seeing as a quarterback as a junior in high school, where they won 3 straight Texas high school football championships? What are you seeing? Because Cliff will tell you he spoke my language. Well, he can't speak your language. Again, is he the most diligent film student, or does he have some football genius about it? I'm going to go so far as genius, because I watched every snap he took last year, and I know he has a really good offensive football coach in Lincoln Riley, great coordinator, and as you say, they stop down before the snap and they look over to see what Lincoln's going to recall, right? Okay, and that doesn't happen in pro football.
No.
I don't know why they don't try it some, but they just don't do it. That's not how the game is played, right?
Yes.
But the point is, Kyler still has to make a bunch of reads because they got 5 receivers out. And what I loved about him and what I did not see from Michael Vick when he was at Virginia Tech, your school, was Michael in college looked to run. He just did.
Yeah.
If he didn't see the first receiver wide open, he is gone, because he could overwhelm a college defense with his speed and athleticism, obviously. Kyler moved in college only to throw the football. His runs were called runs, quarterback draws. They would call runs for him because I think he's 4.2 40. I think he might be a touch faster than Michael Vick.
No way.
Wow.
Well, they said he was out of shape when he got there from Texas A&M in an offseason and ran 4.3 on the practice field, out of shape. That's what Lincoln Riley said the other day.
He ain't that fast.
Okay.
D-Hall, tell him he ain't that fast, D-Hall.
He doesn't look that fast. I mean,
Okay.
he looks
He does to
fast,
me.
Skip, but 4.2 is.
I know it's blazing. What did you run? I can't remember. It's 4.3.
4.31 at the
Okay,
time.
so you know what blazing is.
Yeah.
You don't know what blazing is.
No.
I definitely have no idea what blazing is.
I mean, you weigh 270 pounds.
No, I ain't with no 270.
No.
All I know is I got the longest touchdown. I got the longest touchdown for a tight end in NFL history. I do know that.
Skip, I'm with you though 100%. When you watch this kid play, these reports seem like just made up, because no one can have the kind of success he had and do some of the things he did on the football field and not actually understand what's going on.
John Marcus Russell did.
He didn't have this kind of impact. That LSU
You know
team
what?
was a good
I didn't
team.
like him. You can go back
Oh,
and check
but
the tape.
He wasn't
I didn't
that
like him.
great. Yeah,
He wasn't. He threw a lot of interceptions.
He was the Sugar Bowl MVP on the national championship winning team.
Go look at what happened when they played Florida and who was the other big game that year? LSU. He just threw
Alabama, you probably mean.
I think it was.
Because
I mean, he was at LSU.
He
I
beat
mean,
up on LSU
who
a
was the
couple
other one?
times right before he got
somebody
there,
else.
and I thought that who was it? Matt Mock and one other quarterback.
Flynn.
Yeah.
Played a little bit better than Jamarcus, but Jamarcus checked all the boxes.
6'5",
yeah,
250,
and
rocket
and
arm.
To me, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to translate.
But he was an
into a
Al
better
Davis
quarterback.
deep thrower.
Yeah.
He wasn't a pick you apart.
Yeah.
He wasn't a reader, a speed reader.
But I don't care how talented Kyler Murray is. If he got bad study habits, Skip, it'll manifest itself.
All right, but I told you, he's the kind of kid who's been such a special athlete all the way up. When he steps on the field, he has aura about him. He's like a little warrior. He's a little man, but he plays big. He doesn't play small to me because he has a serenity around him. He has a supreme confidence that borders on arrogance, but he's not a trash talker. He's not a finger pointer. He's not a celebrator. If he scores, he just hands the ball to the officials. So there's no hot dog going on here. He just thinks he's better than you are. And I believe mentally he's operating on the highest level. I don't even know about film study. I'm sure he will do whatever is required of him.
But he'll never be successful.
Okay,
Because if you only do what's required, because those guys that just do what's required, no, you can't do that, Skip.
But I know his attitude going into those sessions with
you're
all
right.
those teams at the combine. He's like, what am I doing? What do I need this
There's a
for?
little bit of an arrogance.
I could definitely sense that. Anytime you have a guy who's a Heisman Trophy winner, who's a two-sport guy, who's about to make history and do some of the things that Kyler's doing, I could totally see, because heck, I was considered a nobody. I mean, I rose up the draft boards late, but I was considered a nobody. And when I went in meetings, it was times I was kind of like, this team's drafting 20th. Why am I?
What am I doing?
Let me ask you a question.
Interesting.
Who cared about where you got drafted at once you got to the NFL? They needed to see why you got drafted there. So they coming with it.
Yeah.
Because I needed to see all them Buckets and Outland Trophy winners and Thorpe Award winners. I needed to see why you got that award. So I needed to see. They're going to see I need to see why Kyler Murray went #1 overall and won the Heisman Trophy. Okay. So you better bring your A game because they coming.
Oh, they're going to be coming. They're going to be coming for the simple fact of who he is, the position he plays.
I make my name out of him.
I remember when RG came in, we were trying. We were having to almost fight people on the opposing teams taking shots at him.
Really?
Oh yeah. Johnny Manziel, whole big thing to our sideline when we were playing, one of his first games playing, because guys were trying to go at him. When you're a mobile quarterback and you think you're faster than everyone else and you try to hang your head on that, other guys on defense, they want you to understand, like, this ain't college. This ain't college, and we're going to show you this is not college.
Last quick point, the annual leaking of the Wonderlic test is now out there. So Kyler had a 20, which is not great. Mahomes had a 24, which wasn't great. Dan Marino had a 16, which really wasn't great. He did okay, right? Yeah. I think he did okay.
They seem to be leaking. They be leaking these tests. I mean, they leak Vince Young. They be leaking a lot of these brothers' tests. I'm like, well, damn, are they the only one that's taking the test? I'm glad they leaked mine.
I do not.
They did not?
No, they ain't leaked mine, Chris. I need a crane to pull that thing up.
Have you done it?
No.
Did you take it?
I took it.
How,
You did?
hard?
I don't know what happened.
You aced it? It was so good that they didn't want to leak it because it'd blow the whole premise.
Look, 16 years ago, they was giving us the answers to the Wonderlic and was like having us practice it in classrooms.
Really?
Yeah, in your combine training. So I'm trying to figure out, like, how do you not pass it down?
Maybe you didn't study.
Well,
Maybe he didn't.
I didn't have the answers. Because if I'd have had the answers, I'd have got a 50.
Really?
Oh, I'm not going to cheat.
Help
You actually think I'm going to cheat to get a 90? If I cheat on the test, I'm getting a 100. If I'm going to run the risk of getting expelled, I'm getting a 100. I'm getting a 50.
But that would raise a red flag.
Exactly.
There's no way
you got 100 before.
You can raise whatever you want. You need to raise my grade stock.
They say go to MIT if you're getting 100.
You need
Move
to
on.
raise my grade
Just
stock.
glad we didn't have to take that test for this job because that would have been really stressful.
Oh, yeah, we had to take no test.
But why can't he become a good film studier? It doesn't. Maybe he just has been. He hasn't needed to.
It's
in the
hard.
Past. Why can't he just figure it out?
It's hard to develop good habits once you get there.
It might be too late.
Yeah, because whatever you are, money just makes you more of what you already are.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can change too. You know, that's why hope isn't lost. If this, especially knowing he hasn't played and focused 100% on football.
That is the best thing about it.
It's kind of what's always
you got school,
gives me
you got study hall,
Yeah.
you got all this other stuff. Once you become a professional athlete,
that's all you
that's
have.
your job. Being a professional athlete, it ain't being a student. It ain't going to going to the cafeteria. You got study hall. It's 100% focus. And if he does that, for your sake, Skip.
Yeah, you know what I always say?
What?
I win every debate the night before.
Oh, that's what
It's
you say?
all about study.
All about preparation.
That's what you say?
No, I said
Well, where you gonna win? Huh? Well, you done flunked out of it. You done flunked off for
I'm not
Undisputed.
so sure. All right, good news. One day away, guys. Finally from the
Yes.
draft. At least we get to
Wait.
finally know where he's going,
I can't
D'Angelo.
wait.
I
Thank you
wanna
for
see what
joining
he
us.
gonna
We're switching gears to the Lakers. What on earth is going on with their coaching search? What's going on? Rick Bucher, he's going to try to explain next.
No mercy.
The Lakers' coaching search is still ongoing. Yesterday, they interviewed Jason Kidd, but the LA Times says he does not have a serious shot at the job. Today, the Lakers will have a second interview with LeBron's old coach, Ty Lue. And here's an interesting twist. Kurt Rambis is now part of the interview process. Yesterday, it was Rambis and Rob Pelinka that spoke to Kidd. We're joined by senior writer for Bleacher Report and FS1 analyst, Rick Bucher. Good to have you back.
Good to be back.
Rick, ultimately, who will have the final say on the Lakers' coaching decision?
Ultimately, it'll be Jeannie Buss. She's at the top of the hierarchy. Now, the people that have dogs in this race for the next coach tell me it's not exactly clear who is making the ultimate basketball decisions. The hierarchy right now, as I understand it, and had confirmed this morning, is Rob, Kurt and Linda Rambis, and then Jeannie Buss.
Wow.
So that's the hierarchy. Ultimately, who makes the decision, we'll see.
So is it possible that very quietly and unofficially that Kurt Rambis has effectively replaced Magic Johnson as the sort of president, whatever that capacity is, of the Lakers?
By his association with Linda?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm told Linda really holds the keys to the kingdom now. She has been afforded that by Jeannie Buss.
I'm
Okay, and for the record, she's very close to Jeannie.
Very
Yes.
And
yes.
she already has an executive status with the franchise.
Yes.
I don't know exactly what her title or role is, but she's Jeannie's number one
gatekeeper, I think, is now.
She's number one confidant.
Yes.
Okay. Obviously, Kurt is still very close to Phil Jackson, who came back for a practice and sat with Kurt watching from above. So is it possible that somehow Phil is back in the loop here as far as input, like some telephone input?
Well, Jeannie has always counted on his counsel.
Yeah.
So that's never changed. But in terms of him coming in and having some sort of formal effect on things, I would say no. And that goes for the same with Jerry West and Pat Riley and all the other names that we've heard. If you're looking for one of those previous knights in shining armor to come riding to the rescue, that is not going to happen. What you are seeing now is most likely going to be what the hierarchy is going to be.
So quick point on Kurt Rambis. I know him pretty well from days at ESPN. You've been around him a lot over the many years. I respect his basketball IQ and vision. He's not magic in charisma or, he's the unmagic, actually. So would you trust his perspective, his input? Would it be capable of having that sort of Jerry West effect? He's not Jerry West, obviously, but does he have some of that in him?
Yeah, I'm his basketball acumen, I'm not concerned about.
Yeah.
Where the Lakers are is it's about the relationships they have around the league and being able to dig out the talent that they need to upgrade this roster. That's ultimately what it comes down to. And Kurt, for as long as he's been in the league, hasn't been in one of those places where he's had to make those decisions.
Right.
He's had to make those connections. So it's a matter of who ultimately is going to do the work. There's a lot of work to be done. We keep looking at the names and all of that. Even if you brought a Jerry West or a Pat Riley in, they would bring the panache that you need, right? But ultimately, it's going to be the worker bees that are going to turn this, and that's the bigger question.
I see you shaking your head over there.
LeBron James said, this is what I signed up for.
Oh, by the way, your man is not happy right now.
I know. He said, I left dysfunction in Cleveland.
He did.
When all of a sudden, a week before free agency, a couple of days before free agency, you fired David Griffin. He said, I thought I left that. I thought I was coming to L.A. for stability, a pillar, a bedrock foundation in the NBA. And this is what I get? I get chaos?
Yeah. By the way, when it comes to Jason Kidd and Monty Williams and Ty Lue, my understanding is Monty Williams has a very good shot.
Really?
Somebody even told me pole position in this because it would be an appeasement to clutch agency. The concern is with Ty Lue coming in, you still have a lot of young players on that roster. Right. And the LeBron effect of LeBron gets everything he wants and we're just here and we got to go along with it. Bringing Ty Lue would only double down on that feeling. Monty Williams is a clutch guy, but at the same time, he's a young new coach where they could look at that and go, oh, okay, maybe we have an opportunity to earn his respect and trust.
Okay. And there's another clutch guy we trying to recruit too.
That is true.
You know that clutch guy, Rick.
And would AD prefer Monty?
He wouldn't be opposed to that, but I mean, let's not talk about AD right now because that ship is so far on the horizon that
this is ridiculous. Skip, look, Jeannie. This is not a mom and pop's convenience store.
It's feeling like
you don't get your first cousin and your brother's girlfriend and all this to run this. Dr. Butt, Skip, there is a reason. If you notice, Dr. Buss didn't have any of his kids when he was running the organization making any decisions. Jeannie was in charge of marketing.
Well, they were just kids.
No, they weren't kids.
Well, they were.
No, they weren't kids. No.
I mean, when he first
when he passed away, they were not kids.
not when he passed away.
The flip side of this is when Jim came in, Jim didn't do it like his dad. He went out. He got a Mike Brown. He got a Mike D'Antoni. He got people outside of the Lakers family.
Good point.
And that didn't work. So Jeannie is saying, that didn't work. I'm going to go back to the way my dad did it, which was more inclusive. Now, happened to be inclusive with people that were in their prime and had championship pedigrees. Now you're dealing with how do we make it inclusive, people that I trust, people that I know, but they don't have a proven track record.
So do you realize that Rick Bucher just told us that Linda Rambis has become a primary decision maker for the Los Angeles Lakers featuring LeBron James?
I'm out.
You're out?
I'm out.
Yeah.
Until this thing is resolved,
Linda
until they can give me something concrete that I can hang my hat on.
That might be the most disappointing thing because I just signed on with you guys and I was expecting more of this. I can't have you. I can't have you out. We got to bring you back. We got to find a way.
Skip, now you know this is unacceptable.
I don't know much, if anything, about Linda. Do you know much at all?
I don't.
Okay. Well, there we go. So Rick Bucher, an authority, knows very little about the newest authority of the Lakers. Really?
Look, I know Linda Carter. She was Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
I know
she
Linda
was.
Ronstadt.
Yeah.
I don't know Linda Rambers. But if she's going to be making... Look, I'm going to love Linda Rambers. If she can deliver us KD,
Linda
AD, Kyrie, or something of value.
I wonder if LeBron knows Linda at all.
No.
Like, would he have any feel for her? Or
No, because that's not what he signed up for.
But to be fair, Linda is not in the meetings. Linda has ceded that to Kurt. So I will trust. I will at least.
It's funny.
I will at least trust. I will trust somebody who at least knows what they don't know.
Hey, Skip, can I do? You know what I'm gonna do? In morning meetings, I'm gonna send somebody in there for me.
Are you?
I'm gonna stay in my dressing
proxy?
room. Yeah, I'm gonna stay in my dressing room,
Really?
and then I'm gonna send them to the meeting, and then they're gonna come back and give me the information that you got.
Well, that would give you more time to post on IG, right? Post your
Rick,
breakfast.
Rick, you know this is not a good sign, Rick. You up here laughing, but it's not funny. This was a proud franchise. Hadn't been to the playoffs in 6 years. And it seems like more gloom and doom is on the horizon. LeBron didn't sign up for this. We going into year 17, we came to stack trophies. And I don't know if we're going to be able to stack anything.
Stack them?
Yes, 2, more than 1.
Hey, this has gone from bad to worse.
Yes.
And again, to save LeBron, it needs to be Ty Lue because it seems like that's the only way LeBron's going to be able to function as LeBron.
Get
right?
us a superstar, we're going to get us a trophy. Get us a superstar, we'll get us a trophy.
Well, like that?
Like that.
Okay. And?
I get us a, because if KD comes here, that's a no-brainer. But if KD leaves Golden State and you get us a superstar to go with LeBron, oh yeah, we going. We getting us a chip.
Well, last time you were here, you said the eye on the prize is the number 2 guy up in Toronto.
And you saw him
right?
Did you see him last night?
Against Orlando?
Did you see him?
Yeah. I saw Siakam last night, too. Wow.
Claw.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Claw and Bron together?
It's still not enough. For a championship team,
I would agree with that.
If
I'm with
KD
you.
leaves Golden State, that's more than enough.
It does crack the door open.
this is what I appreciate. You're back in. You're back in.
So we gonna
got
get
you
Kawhi.
back in.
We get Kawhi.
I think you're going to get Kemba.
Oh, we must rather get Kawhi and Kimba.
What if Kawhi
Say that
wants to
ain't
go to
enough.
the other LA team, though? What if Kawhi wants to go to that other LA
You don't want that.
Are you sure?
Look, the Clippers are
Wait a second. What if Linda Rambis wants Jimmy Butler? I don't know.
Linda, don't do that. Don't do that, Linda.
Linda doesn't know what she's in for from this
She
table.
no, hey, Linda, I'm sorry now. I just want you to know what comes with the territory. I don't have a problem with promoting and women's rights, but you're going to get criticized up in here. So don't think because you're a woman getting a man in a man's role. No, that ain't how we do business up here. Because I'm going to criticize you come with some bunk. So go and get me Kawhi and Kemba, and Linda, I'm going to love you for the rest of your life.
Then life will be good?
Yeah. It'll be championships.
Okay.
What you going to say then, Skip?
Whew, the
Kemba
Lakers.
and Kawhi and LeBron?
I don't have to worry about that.
They're just
not
keeping
gonna
it
happen.
interesting for us every single day. What will we talk about with the Lakers? You never know these days. You never know. All right, can the Thunder ever win with Russell Westbrook? We'll discuss all that is there next.
No mercy.
The Blazers won a thriller last night to eliminate the Thunder. Rick Bucher back with us. Rick, was last night more about Damian Lillard or Russell Westbrook?
I'm going to say it was more about Damian Lillard because that's what I told your producer that I was going to say coming out here. But upon further reflection, actually, it is more about Russ Westbrook because of the future of a franchise that hangs on what does he take away from this. I actually liked the way that he played last night. I thought it was more composed. It wasn't as emotional. I think it was reflected in the way they started the game. He missed shots, but at least they were in rhythm and they weren't emotional shots. They weren't like, I'm trying to do it. He blended more. He had 14 assists. It made more sense. His game was more composed. The problem is he didn't start thinking about playing that way in this game until after Game 4. Damian Lillard has been preparing for this and this moment last night, you could say going back to last season when they got knocked out.
Yep.
And I'd go even further than that because Damian played for an AAU team in Oakland, the Oakland Rebels. They weren't a sponsored team. The Oakland Soldiers were the big team. Now, Damian will tell you that they rejected him and he stuck with the Rebels. The Soldiers tell me he could have played for us if he wanted to. He chose to stay with the Rebels, okay? But nonetheless, he stayed with his friends. They weren't sponsored. They had to sell candy to generate funds, to go to tournaments, all that. Ultimately, they played in a tournament, and they beat the Soldiers. Damian Lillard as the underdog, as the guy that has been doubted, the guy that other guys, the Russ Westbrooks and the Paul Georges, look down on and say, he's that nice little guy who plays up in Portland. He's been living that his entire life and figuring out how to overcome it. So what you saw last night was a preparation that started from the beginning of his career in basketball. And that's why where Oklahoma City lost this series was then when they mocked him at the end of Game 3. There's a reason he mentioned that on the podium.
Yeah,
sure.
You're mocking me with Lillard time and all that. You're down 2-1, still in the series. That hurt him to the core. That's something that he has dealt with his entire life, and that lit a fire where there was no way that he was going to lose this series to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
We don't normally see all NBA players get mocked. And they mocked him. He's an All-NBA. Skip, he was first-team All-NBA. Now, he'll probably be second-team this year behind Harden and Steph Curry. He doesn't get – I'm glad people are getting an opportunity to see just how special this young man is, Skip.
He is.
Because you hear about Harden, you hear about Steph Curry, you hear about Kyrie handles, and Dame. This last night, OKC shot 55% in the first half. If he doesn't go nuclear, this game is 20 points. They're 20 points ahead. He has to go nuclear because at the end of the first half, he has 34. None of his other teammates have more than 6. Paul George is going off. Russ is playing well. He's gotten the auxiliary guys in the game. And somehow they have a 1-point lead. So now he hits that step back 3 in the corner. They're up 9. And in the span of about 8 minutes, they're down 15.
Yep.
And Dame says, no. He scores 8. CJ comes to the party. Mo Harkless, all of a sudden, he can't miss from the free throw line or the field, Skip. And that shot, he'd been sizing him up, Skip. Because he went by him early. You mentioned he got by. How did they let Dame get a layup? Paul George knows I'd rather him shoot the ball from out here than be in the lane. He's looking at the clock. And the next thing you know, he steps, and boom, it's over. He was sensational. This series played out exactly how I thought it would. Dame would be Dame Lillard, and Russ would be Russ. He would shoot a terrible percentage from the field, and at the end of the day, guess what we talk about? He did get a triple-double, though, Skip. But guess what else he got? First-round bounce, just like he did in the previous 2 seasons, in which he averaged a triple-dub.
So I'm going to give both of you this. Last night, Damian Lillard proved once again, and maybe once and for all, he's just a better basketball player than Russell Westbrook. He's a better leader, scorer, shooter, closer, even a more creative, clever passer than Russ is. Just a better overall point guard who can also play a lot of two-guard. I give you all that. But my takeaway from the last 2 games is that this series was mostly about what Russell Westbrook could not do. He made a 3 late in the first half of Game 4 in Oklahoma City that brought the house down and put Oklahoma City up 7. And he goes running up the court and beating his chest, my house. And he was saying a lot of things I think we couldn't say on TV.
Exactly.
And it was all about Damian Lillard.
Yes.
And from that moment forward, they allowed, a 9-0 run to end the half. And then Russ scored 2 points in the second half. And it was effectively over. That was the end of Russell Westbrook as we knew and loved his triple-doubles for a 3rd straight year. So last night, they have a 15-point lead with 7:12 remaining. And down the stretch, Russ goes 0 for 3 with 2 turnovers and 1 silly, just dumb late foul out of frustration because he didn't get a call that he should have gotten on a charge. with a couple of minutes left, with actually 1:55 left. But then he goes down with a frustrated foul, and he gives Harkless 2 more crucial free throws that he made after he went 1 for 6 through the first of the game from the free throw line. So Russ is obviously a triple-double machine who still hasn't figured out how to win big basketball games. And it's hard, and it takes, maybe he doesn't have enough scar tissue yet. Maybe he needs this kind of scar tissue. But again, if you're that guy, if you're one of the top 5 players in the NBA, you get that game literally home to Oklahoma City for Game 6.
Yes.
Up 15.
Yes.
Right?
He's been able to overwhelm people athletically.
He has.
And he's lived off of that. But athleticism and just physical ability under pressure in playoff games, when everybody's prepared, it becomes a thinking man's game.
Yeah.
Damian has had to play that way because he doesn't have the same
He does. In fact,
athletic ability.
Game 4, I told you he had a wide open breakaway dunk, and he had to kind of effort the dunk up. It took all he had to get it over the rim.
Right.
And yet, he has the ability and had the ability in this series to go by Russ anytime he wanted to. So much of that was Russ took bad angles. I mean, fundamentally, there's a lot about Russ's game that is not good. I had a GM tell me the other day, he said, you know, what Russ is a phenomenal athlete who happens to play basketball. And that's the distinction. Damian Lillard, you're right. Damian Lillard is a basketball player. The way he brings that team together, when he turns the corner, and you saw it again last night.
Yes.
When he turns the corner, as soon as he turns the corner, he knows what his options are, and he can immediately assess what's my best, the highest percentage thing that I can do. When Russ goes, he gets to the rim, and he's in the air, and now he's going to decide what he's going to do.
Well, maybe
So different.
And he's so athletic, and he's been able to get away with it for so long. The real question is going to be, and I don't give up hope on Russ, because I saw the way he changed this year. He realized I can't do it by myself. He tried to utilize the pieces around him.
Yep.
He deferred to Paul George.
He did.
He welcomed Dennis Schroeder into the club.
Yep.
Now
then
he's
what
got.
happened when the rubber needed to meet the road last night?
Well, again, he's just starting to prepare for this. Can he learn how to play smart as well as hard?
And that's what I told Skip today. I said, there's no question about him playing hard. But at some points of the game, you got to play smart.
Everybody in the playoffs plays hard. If you play hard during the regular season, you're going to have numbers through the roof.
Yeah.
If you don't play smart in the playoffs, you're going to be going home.
Dame Dollar. That's what I be doing. That's my new moniker right there. 631. That's what I do, Rick.
Every day now, we're going to
It's Shan time.
Oh, God.
Trailblazers tweeted from their team account. Next question.
Next question. We're moving on. Rick, good stuff. Thank you for being here. Marshawn Lynch is calling it quits. Is he a future Hall of Famer? We will discuss.
No mercy.
Beast Mode is hanging up his cleats. ESPN reports Marshawn Lynch is retiring from the NFL. He scored 10 touchdowns over the last 2 seasons for his hometown Raiders, but his real damage was during a 4-year stretch in Seattle when he ran for over 1,200 yards each season and won a Super Bowl. So, Shannon, what is Marshawn's legacy?
Beast mode. He was the heartbeat. He was the pulse of the team, Skip. And when he ran, the defense tackled harder. They covered better. That offense flowed. He was beast mode, and that beast quake. We saw that run, Skip, against the Saints. That was a 7-9 ball club. If I'm not mistaken, the Saints had just come off of winning the Super Bowl the previous year, if I'm not mistaken.
2010 it was. It was the year next year.
And the Saints were favored, and he put that run on, and it was
the earth moved.
Yes, yes.
I was in New York, and I felt the earth move. Right?
So they say, you know, Skip, it would have been very, very interesting. He won the 1 Super Bowl. How would we have viewed him had they won the 2nd and he's the MVP? You look at his numbers, Skip. He's over 10,000 career rushing yards, which is 29th, 84 touchdowns, 16th. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler. But I believe we would view him totally different. He gets that ball on the 1-yard line. He scores. They win. But he had an unbelievable career. People forget that he had a couple of thousand rush yard seasons in Buffalo. But he will be remembered
That's a good point.
as a Seattle Seahawk in what he was able to bring to this ball club.
So big picture, I can't go Hall of Fame for him, but my standards are high, and they seem to be coming down by the year.
Yes.
So maybe he gets in. Just look, I've always said there's a Hall of Fame and there's a Hall of Very Good, and he's definitely in the Hall of Very Good. But I don't think with just 5 Pro Bowls that he'd be elevated into your Hall of Fame. But that's just me. I won't be surprised if he gets in, because beast mode almost became a mystique unto itself.
It did.
Like it's Hall of Fame,
Yes.
just on nickname and aura.
Right.
Yeah.
It has it's all-time memorable. And remember when we took the show in our first year up to Oakland for the NBA Finals, and right down the street from where we were staying, they had a whole, he returned to the Raiders.
Sure.
There was a whole shop of Marshawn Lynch gear, and I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. Because to Oakland, to that community,
Oh, my God.
he is it, man.
He brought a restaurant, a famous soul food restaurant. It was about to close. He kept it open. He's big in his community, Skip. He's very beloved in his community. And what he was able to do, Skip, the Seattle that we know now, a lot has to do with beast mode. Yeah, they had the Legion of Boom, but they played different. When this guy got rolling, they were tough.
And he's the flip side of Russell Westbrook in postgame, because he wouldn't speak oftentimes.
No.
And then the classic line that he trademarked was, "I'm just here so I don't get fined," at the Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah.
But there was something lovable about it,
Right.
where and he did other interviews where he was so outgoing and so charming and so funny.
And he was and he was matter of fact. He was very in what you saw is what you got. He ran like he actually really talked off camera.
Yeah.
He didn't really like to talk on camera, like he said. He had very little to say, but he ran the football with a purpose, with an urgency. He was trying to run through your face.
Yeah, he actually played football the way Russell plays basketball.
Yes.
That it's almost like running with rage, playing with
But
rage.
you know what, Skip? When you watch him, he has better feet than you think. People just think that he just ran over people. But if you look at the run in the Beastquake, he did a lot of sidestepping. Man, that was unbelievable. That was probably one of the greatest runs that you'll ever see.
Well, so his legacy to me, that he will be best known for the play on which he did not get the football, right?
Yes, yeah.
I mean, that's what it boiled down to. Again, you and I have parted ways on this for many years. I had no problem with it. It was more of a great play than a bad call, because some kid from West Alabama just stepped in front of the throw and picked it off.
Shouldn't have thrown it.
Well,
Can't intercept the run.
well, although during that regular season that year, what was the 2014 year, Beast Mode had tried 5 times from the 1-yard line to score a touchdown and been stopped 4 times. So maybe Darrell Bevel, Pete Carroll decided, well, let's throw a little tricky pass here.
Exactly.
To Ricardo Lockett, who was 6'4", 220 maybe?
Well,
Right?
well, first of all, once you see Brandon Browner in a press position, that play is no-go. Because you're not going to get the rub that you need, Skip, because he's stacked on the line of scrimmage.
You got a rookie cornerback who just got thrown in cold into the game late because the other cornerback was getting roasted and toasted.
Kyle Arrington.
Right.
But remember, they had rehearsed. That's where film study comes in. They had rehearsed that play how many times?
What they said.
And they kept repeating it. You got to get there, Malcolm. You got to get there, Malcolm. It doesn't matter. Get there, get there. Hey, you run the sprint option, the guys are wide open. But Skip, you study tape, and for that very moment, and when they line up in that formation that you see, you're like, oh, man, they gonna run it. They gonna do what we've been practicing all week. Just trust what you see. He jetted it. It wasn't the fact, because Skip, he could have easily knocked the ball down, because we see that a lot.
He caught it.
Yeah, because what happened? They knocked the ball down, and they're like, dude, catch it.
And then they show Tom Brady's jumping up and down like a little kid on Christmas.
Because he knows. He knows Malcolm Butler had just saved his legacy again.
Really?
Yes.
And that was the turning point for the Seattle Seahawks as we knew them, right?
It's
That
over.
was the beginning of the end, right?
It was over.
Yeah.
I knew it was over. I said, it's never going to be the same. Oh, no, you won't. 1 yard line for a super regular season game, you can bounce back from that. Skip Super Bowl. They chronicle these things. Nobody's going to remember a game 1, a game 15, the 2009 season or the 1998 season. They chronicle these things here.
It's still hard to watch.
Yeah, I'm hurting.
Oh, I think it will be forever.
They probably swing on Pete Carroll. They better not have no reunion. They swinging on Pete Carroll.
I would agree with
Skip that one. Will Kevin Durant and the Warriors blow out the Clippers tonight? Will they get it done? We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. The Warriors are about a 2-touchdown favorite tonight in their potential series-clinching game against the Clippers. Kevin Durant is averaging about 29 points per game in the series, and Golden State has won their 3 games by an average of 17. So, Shannon, what's the score tonight?
A whole lot to a few. Blowout.
Blowout.
Plus 15.
Really?
I'm going to say 107. 90.
To 90?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Woo.
Okay.
So what did we see last night from the Brooklyn Nets and the Orlando Magic?
Brooklyn just gave up the first 6 minutes, looked like.
They said, we're out. They said uncle. They didn't say unk. They just said uncle,
Yeah,
right?
they gave it up.
They said, we give up and we don't even show up
Yeah.
tonight. Let's just get this over. We are going through these motions.
Yikes.
I do not expect the Clippers to go through the motions. Doc Rivers has said all year, this is the most resilient team I have ever coached. I think they will give Golden State a battle. And I don't think Golden State will exactly push down on the accelerator tonight. I think they'll hope to be just to get through this. Their eyes are probably on the Houston Rockets at this point, and I think the Clippers are in good position to at least keep it close. I say it'll be a 5-point game. I'll say 107-102. I'm going to give
You want to do back?
No, I don't want any do on
Come
this.
on,
because
Skip.
Unless, will you give me, you know what, it's been bet up to 14.5. I'll take the Clippers in 14.
I give you 12.
12? But the spread is 14.5.
14.
No,
I would take an even 15, you know.
No.
No?
I'm
You know what? I think I just scared you because Lou Williams cost me a case.
You guys can't
He could
decide
win
what
me a
to
case tonight.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports. One of one.